All right, so today I am joined by Denver drag extraordinaire Jessica Lahore. How are you doing today?
I am good. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. So Jessica, go ahead and well, if I could actually speak, like I said, it was a long day, but can you begin by telling us more about your background and how Jessica Lahore came to be?
Yeah, so hi everybody. My name is Jessica Lahore. I'm a drag artist, entrepreneur, 11 years in the business, 9 years as a full-time entrepreneur artist. 11 years ago, you would have never thought that this is something that I would be doing as a full-time career. I was a closeted queer human going to college at Colorado State University in Fort Collins here in Colorado, and it kind of just happened when I started getting into my sexual identity, when I started to observe queer culture more, when I started to get more comfortable with myself. I decided to try drag, fell in love with it. Started as a hobby, just something for fun, and then became a business for me very quickly afterwards. It kind of took the three things that I loved most, which was wanting to start a business, teaching, and theater, and shoved it into one beautiful glamazon that you see in front of you. So.
Awesome, fantastic. So what was that aha moment where you're like, this is what I was meant to do?
I had a couple variations of aha moments. The first one of like, I want to try drag was that I had a boyfriend at the time, and I hated drag. I called it gross and disgusting at one point. And I had a boyfriend take me to a drag show. I watched this queen perform on stage, and I was like, I want to do that. I want to try that. So we went to Walmart after the show. It was super late. Got a bra. He had a wig. We had some play makeup. I got into drag, and he was like, "You are an ugly woman. You should never do drag again." And I fell in love with it. And so I kept doing it, even though we didn't work out, obviously, but I kept doing it. So that was one aha moment of I love this. I love this transformation. I want to do it more. The second aha moment was probably about 2 years in. I was working as a server in a restaurant, and they decided to just shut down when we all walked into work one day and say, "Hey, we're not opening up again." And I said, "Oh,
Oh,
okay. What should I do?" And I said, "Okay, well, let's just try doing this entertainment thing and not trying to find a different job." So that was an aha moment of like, I think I can do this. I can make this happen.
mhm.
Later down the road, I had an aha moment, probably 2018, I would say, where I found like this is my niche. This is like what I'm doing well at. I'm a great producer, great MC. I love the way that I'm branding myself and like creating myself as Jessica Lahore as a company. 2020, I had the aha moment when I tried to quit drag, that I wasn't going to get a 9 to 5 job and it was impossible to find work during the COVID times. And so I decided to completely restructure my business strategy. And I would say 2020 into 2021, I realized that I'm meant to be a business owner,
Mhm.
and I was meant to like make this a career for full-time entertainment, consulting, and just production. And then my last aha moment was probably 2 years ago in 2022 when I said, I've been doing this 9 years by myself. I'm going to actually make this company a thing. And I hired team members. So I have a team that is Team Lahore essentially, and I run employees to help to help me
Yeah.
create and build up this brand even more. I don't
Awesome.
know. Sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. So it's like the world was like nudging you, like this is you need to go here, you need to do drag, and then it came to what you are now. That's awesome. And
Yeah.
how would you describe your drag aesthetic and style?
I'm a queen who sees a need, fills a need. In terms of production style, that's my aesthetic. My aesthetic as a human is I will fit the mold to whatever I feel like wearing that day. I'm not a one trick pony when it comes to my performance style, my makeup style, my artistic style, or even my approach on event and marketing. I definitely cater to the audiences that I'm marketing towards with whatever that event is and whatever I feel like wearing. I wake up and show up as me. That is
Yeah.
how I would describe myself.
All right, perfect. And is there anything you always hope audiences take away from your shows?
I say this at almost every event in some capacity. I want every person that walks into a Jessica Lahore produced and MC'd event to laugh a little bit harder and leave walking out feeling a little bit better about themselves than when they walked in.
Perfect, love it. Well, while doing my research, I read that you're a big advocate for cannabis and you kind of integrated weed into your drag persona. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I was I wouldn't say anti-weed. It just wasn't something that was part of what I did. I didn't partake for
Yeah.
quite a while until several years in, and I started integrating it into my life, which helped a lot with anxiety. It also helped with the emotional reset. A lot of emotional energy goes into shows, hosting, and giving a lot of energy to other people. So at the end of the weekend, it would be like celebrating with a joint, essentially, or with cannabis,
Mhm.
and using that as a way to recharge my batteries, refill my cup, and kind of allow my mind to shut off and escape the world so that I could re-energize as a human.
Mhm.
I have been cannabis free for about 7 months, so it's not something that I integrate into my life anymore in the same capacity. I still am pro cannabis. It's something that I want to integrate back in, but I'm very focused on the things that I need to check off, performing 100%, being here at all times. But I'm very pro cannabis when it's applicable.
Yeah, definitely. Well, not just cannabis, but fundraising and advocacy in general is very important to you. I read that proceeds from your merchandise sales have been donated to several organizations, including National Breast Cancer Foundation, National Center for Transgender Equality, the Drew Project, the Trevor Project, and you've also participated in fundraising for the victims of the Post nightclub massacre. Where did this passion and drive to give back to the community through drag come from?
Yeah, I want to clarify it's not merch sales that are necessarily going
Okay.
back into organizations, just to clarify for
Okay. Yeah.
anybody watching. But advocacy for organizations has been part of my career since day one. I started as a queen that would accept tip spots and donation spots and fundraising spots to get my name out there. And
Okay.
I think that if you are an aspiring drag artist, fundraising for your community and other organizations and using your talents to raise money for other people is integral to the history of what drag artists have done for decades and decades and decades. Okay.
Yes.
If you're getting into drag now and you're solely invested just for yourself, I think you're missing a really key piece of why we do what we do.
Mhm.
So there are a lot of organizations that I've worked with over the last 11 years and even before I started drag that I'm extremely passionate about raising money for. And I make sure to highlight the Pulse nightclub shooting every year, because what happens in our lives and community is that it happens one year and then people forget about it, and then the anniversary comes and they remember, and slowly things phase out until we go back to a normal
Mhm.
sense of living. And those are events that we cannot forget. It's more than just not forgetting the people that we lost tragically to those events. It's about remembering that this is still an issue, that things still have not been fully solved, and it's a reminder that as much as we're um trying to exist, there's still a lot of hate out there that is against us. And
Yeah.
we saw it again after the Pulse nightclub shooting with the shooting in Colorado Springs, and how
Yes.
many other countless shootings that continue to happen.
Mhm.
So that's just one example, but I'm very, very passionate about finding ways to give my talents, give my abilities on the microphone, or even just fundraise for groups whenever requested or just because I feel like doing it.
That's awesome. Love it. And originally, being original, oh, wow, I really cannot talk right now. I'm so sorry. Originally from Colorado and now living in the Mile High City, what makes the Denver drag community unique and stand out from other drag communities?
The drag community in Colorado, even Denver specific as a major city, is completely overlooked. I'm so happy you asked this question. It is so frustrating.
Mm.
If you are a RuPaul's Drag Race fan, you constantly see the representation brought in from bigger cities like LA, New York, Chicago, even Vegas, in places in Texas. And I feel like Colorado, outside of the three wonderful contestants that we've had on, as just an example, we're so overlooked. The amount of talent and the amount of people that are hustlers, creatives, that are curating their own original ideas and costuming and makeup in their own unique styles that are here in Denver. We have one of the best scenes. And I've traveled all around the country. We have a mixture of what you would find in other big cities moved into one big place here. The worst thing about Denver is that our queer scene is spread out, that we don't have a neighborhood. We don't have a street with back to back gay bars or queer bars and queer spaces. Everything was travel. It's a distance, and
Mhm.
at other places, you can go like 2 feet away. There's another bar. 2 feet away. There's another nightclub. So, um, the most unique thing is that we are a hidden gem that more people should get on board with.
Yes, I totally agree. I go to Denver at least once or twice a year, and I did work for Outfront magazine in Denver as well. So I'm very familiar with the Denver drag scene. And you're right that it is very spread out. It isn't like back to back, like you just said. And A lot of the bars and drag clubs that I was familiar with didn't like a lot of them kind of recently closed since the pandemic.
There have been a lot of closures. We've had some new ones come up, but they've struggled to survive for
Hmm.
sure.
Yeah, definitely. But you're absolutely right. I think Denver is a hidden gem, and I think a lot of people need to see and realize how eclectic the drag community in Denver really is.
Absolutely.
Yes. So, how would you say you are constantly evolving as a drag artist?
Oh man, I feel that I've constantly leveled up when the universe just I feel like that's such a vague answer. There's something within me that says like this is the time to strike. I've always been an artist or a human that doesn't announce things or act on things unless everything in my body, mind, body, and soul aligns and says this is the time to do it.
Hmm.
So when I brought on a team, it felt like that was the moment to bring on a team and to start elevating that way. When 2020 hit and I couldn't find a job, I was like, this is the universe saying you need to get smart and start reevaluating your business. And if you're going to make this happen, how are you going to make this happen? And
Yeah.
it really made me level up. It forced me to level up in that case, particularly.
Mhm.
Same thing with traveling. I've been wanting to do this big 50 city tour for about 4 years because of COVID shut down my first tour and it hasn't felt right. Now seems the time to strike. Same
Yeah.
thing at the beginning of the year. This presentation came forward, this ad for DragCon came up about should you be a vendor? And I said, this feels like the time to do
Mhm.
something like this. It's time to rebrand, create new logos, create merchandise, set up a business plan and model, and strike. And we hit DragCon so hard with a 7 month plan in July. So I level up by taking opportunities, creating opportunities, not being scared to reach out for opportunities,
Mhm.
and accepting sometimes it's going to be a no, but never take no as the end. It's there's always something next for you to achieve.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you built yourself as an artist, an entrepreneur, all this without the benefits like being on TV or anything like this. You did
Yeah.
this your own blood, sweat, and tears. Your whole soul was put into this. I mean, has that been challenging for you, or did you kind of find it? Are you happy that you don't have those like those TV? I guess what I'm saying, like, it's a little bit different than from the Rue Girls. Are you?
I think I know what you're asking. Is it been challenging because I haven't been
Yeah,
on a TV show, or is it rewarding? And it's got
yeah.
definitely a yes and attitude about it. One really great thing about it is that I'm in full control of my business, my brand, my edit, essentially, of how I want to be perceived and how I show up in spaces. I am living proof to other local artists that you can find the same track as a drag race and contestant
Mhm.
without being on the show. Here's the caveat to that. Drag Race is a platform that within less than a year boosts and elevates every artist, whether they make it far, they're good, they're bad, they're perceived well, to a whole different level. And that's from traveling opportunities, that's to certain things that are just kind of thrown at them.
Yeah.
And a lot of the artists that get on Drag Race do not know how to utilize the opportunity that they are granted and gifted to the best of their ability. And they think it's going to be easier. No, the work should be just as hard or just as much that you're putting into it. You can tell which ones have taken that and thrived. Where
Mhm.
I feel the most frustration is that I after hiring my marketing team, I was doing very well in terms of following. And unfortunately, following on social media platforms is so heavily looked at when it
Mhm.
comes to booking gigs in other places, venues, promotions, partnerships. And my following did very well, but after I hired my marketing team, it skyrocketed. And
Yeah.
I have more of a better following than most drag race artists that have been on the show or even have competed. And I say that with a lot of humbleness, but what I can say is that doesn't matter.
Mhm.
And I had this mindset that now that I've reached a different level in my following in the way that I'm presenting myself to my audience, oh, I'm going to get different opportunities. I'm going to get people to respond to me finally because the amount of people that won't even give me the time of day, people are going to actually read my messages, tell me they have guest spots. And that doesn't happen because I haven't been on a TV show. And
Yeah.
there's so much frustration that there's almost like a push this local drag artist to the side when I'm doing the same things or more than what somebody on this TV show has done simply because I am not a labeled RuPaul queen. And I
Exactly.
think that's where this balance has been frustrating. It's made me approach social media differently and I now create content for me that I enjoy, that I think others will enjoy, and I refuse to look at numbers the same. But I
Right.
went through about a 6 month period after my big social media spike of just getting rejected, getting ghosted, getting no's. Designers wouldn't give me the time of day, podcast people. So there's a list of
Okay.
people that would say essentially, you weren't on Drag Race, we don't have any interest in you. And
Yeah.
that's so freaking frustrating.
Yes, it should not matter. It really shouldn't matter, in my opinion. But although you're not a rude girl, you were at DragCon this year. What was that experience like?
That was amazing. Can I swear on this? Am I
Yeah, go
allowed to
ahead.
say?
Go ahead.
I showed the fuck out. Okay. This was a 7 month process of blood, sweat, and tears. I learned a lot. I learned about a lot about the financial expenses, but I showed up better than most of the people that have been on Drag Race, that have been on for multiple seasons, that have been to Drag Race or DragCon multiple times.
Mm,
I got a 3 booth setup. I brought a team of 10 with me. I arranged all flight arrangements and all booth setup and arrangements. We brought a whole merchandise line. We traveled across the country. We interviewed like 300 people for my Ask a Queen a question series. I met people from different groups. It felt like I made a stamp that this is
mhm.
possible.
Yeah.
And I looked great. I showed up great. I was so proud of myself. I was so proud of the team. I was so proud of the entire start to finish with minimal hiccups of this planning process.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm so happy for you. That's
Thank you.
absolutely amazing. And for those who don't know, yeah, tell us a little bit more about your Ask a Queen social media series.
Yeah, so this, referring back to cannabis, was a silly series. We do marketing meetings probably, we do them every week, but we do major brainstorming meetings every month, maybe 2 months, just to see if any ideas come up. And we got really high. This is probably about a year and a half ago, me and my team, and we were just writing shit down. And I was like, what would be great if we went and handed dollars to people like we usually get tip dollars,
Yeah.
and they ask us questions. So we did one and it blew up. It blew up so much that we did another one, and then that one blew up even more. So then we kept going, and now we do them about once a month
Yeah.
in various locations, various places, and it's become a staple. Which, I mean, everybody asks questions, but I think what makes mine special is not only am I giving money back to people,
Mhm.
um, my answers aren't staged or um characterized.
Okay.
Like, they're not drag queen kakita boom. It's off the cuff, it's genuine, it's an actual answer, it's heartfelt, it's intentional, but
Yeah.
it's not overplayed. It's just how I would talk to the person.
Okay. Okay. So, like, what are some of the questions that you ask?
I mean, I get asked everything and anything in between. I've been asked, it's from kids like, "What's my favorite dinosaur?" I've been asked from kids like, um, "What does non-binary mean to me?" Because I'm a
Okay.
non-binary person. I've been asked really dirty sexual things like, "Have I been fisted before?" Or what's the largest gangbang I've been part of? I've been asked things that are more along the lines of political, like, "Why is it important to vote?" Or how do you react to people calling you a groomer, when you do all ages events? So we have a lot of questions we have not aired, which
Okay.
will never be aired, but we have so many in this vault from the last year that range anything you could think of. There's nothing off limits.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
what advice can you offer to someone who would like to give drag a shot, especially during this like political climate right now?
Um, I guess that there's two pieces to that. Because I had an answer immediately. I mean, if we remove the political climate, I'd say if you want to do drag, do it. Don't wait too long to actually experiment or try or play around with it. The longer you wait to try something you might be interested in, it's wasted time that you're not figuring out if you actually like it or want to grow and learn from it.
Mhm.
Where I think the sprinkle of the political climate is, know if you're in a safe space to try it. I am very thankful to be in Colorado and Denver, that if anybody wanted to try drag here, I'd say you have a huge support system and probably the minimal amount of repercussions for trying drag, even response from random people in the world. Whereas if you go to a very Republican state, a very anti-drag state, or even city, and you try to do it, that could be very dangerous. and
Mhm.
I don't want anybody to be put into harm's way. So maybe it's a bedroom queen or king situation where you do drag in the comfort of your home and in your room, and you do stuff online, and you're trying it that way, but you're not actually leaving the home yet, or you're not putting yourself in unsafe situations.
Definitely, for sure. Amazing. Well, Jessica, what are some future goals you hope to accomplish with your career and platform?
Yeah. So I finally just locked down a new studio space. So I'm gonna be
Nice.
creating two sets to go into. We're recreating like a late night TV staged,
Okay.
like Jimmy Kimmel live talk show. This will be the third season of Lahore's Lounge, and we keep elevating it. So we're gonna have musical guests and a DJ and on the scene videos and interviews and queer people. It's gonna be great. I'm launching a new podcast called Organized Chaos, which is just how it sounds. Which I'm excited for as well. I'm in the process of planning the sixth annual Colorado Drag Initiative and Variety Awards for the state of Colorado. So it's an award ceremony highlighting queer, drag, and nightlife, entertainment, and culture for the year 2024. I'm the producer of that for the last 6 years,
Nice.
so I do that. I'm working on a 50 city tour around the country from February to May. So I'll be doing 50 cities and hopefully 3 international stops.
Mhm.
I'm rebranding and launching a new merchandising set at the beginning of 2025. So we'll be doing household goods, which are the next little project. And that's what I got. Just social media content, going live, creating safe spaces, and having fun.
All right, there you go. Bunch of projects going on. I love it. Well, how can one stay up to date with you the best?
You can find me on all platforms at Jessica Lahore. That's JESSICALWHOR. No E because I'm illiterate. So just jessicalahore.com. It goes to my Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, podcasts, Instagram, merchandise. Anywhere you type in Jessica Lahore, you should find me.
All right, perfect. Then before we wrap up, are there any other upcoming projects or anything else you'd like to mention or plug at this time?
No, I mentioned all the good ones.
All the good
So
ones. All right.
yeah.
There we go. Perfect.